Pat Sajak's retirement has everyone reminiscing, and not just about his longtime reign as the host of Wheel of Fortune. Whatever happened to The Pat Sajak Show? The Pat Sajak Show was CBS's attempt to regain foothold in the late-night talk show game at a time when The Tonight Show host Johnny Carson was thought to be nearing retirement. Sajak signed a lucrative deal to host, leaving the network version of Wheel of Fortune to do so. He got his real-life friend Dan Miller to act as his sidekick and announcer. There were also all the trimmings you'd expect from a serious The Late Show competitor, from an expensive set to a studio band. Unfortunately for Sajak, his talk show career wasn't built to last. Despite receiving an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Art Direction and featuring cool guests from Leslie Nielsen to Dolly Parton, the show only ran for a single 165-episode season from January 1989 to April 1990. While it was relatively inexpensive to make, the grim realities of disappointing ratings soon started affecting it. The show began as a deliberately close relative of The Tonight Show, but went through a series of last-ditch rebrandings in 1990. First by becoming more informal and compact, and as a last resort, by experimenting with occasional guest hosts, like Rush Limbaugh.
It is shocking, it is frightening how good I am when I get on a roll, and I sense that I'm on a roll now.
This means that out of the show's 165 episodes, Sajak actually appeared in just 158. Ultimately, he saw the writing on the wall and suspected that the guest host concept was a thinly veiled screening for potential new hosts. When filling in for Larry King on Larry King Live in May 2001, he interviewed Limbaugh and poked fun at the talk show's final moments. He said, "I was doing a late night for CBS television, a show that was going so well that they actually auditioned replacements for me on the air. And you were one of those who did an evening once, essentially a pilot, I would call it, for a show." Limbaugh confirmed Sajak's suspicion, though he wasn't certain whether the auditions were specifically for Sajak's host gig. In all fairness, the 90-minute Pat Sajak Show had to compete against some true heavyweights of the genre. Apart from NBC's The Tonight Show and Late Night with David Letterman, the Arsenio Hall Show, which also started its run in January 1989, rapidly established itself as the more attractive CBS newcomer. While Sajak's show had a strong start, it eventually was dead last in the Late Show ratings. Johnny Carson, who hosted The Tonight Show until 1992, regularly pulled double the ratings of Pat's offering.
You realize how much really valuable time we just eat up with garbage like this?
We'll pay for this time.
However, just because the show was eventually canceled doesn't mean that Sajak decided to keep all of his eggs in one basket. While the vast majority of his on-screen career has involved Wheel of Fortune, in one way or another, he's appeared in over 100 other shows and movies, often cameoing as himself but occasionally playing one character or another. Sajak has also been a consulting producer on Wheel of Fortune since 2020, along with executive producer credits on a handful of other projects, including, as it happens, The Pat Sajak Show. It's also possible that some things you didn't know about Sajak are that he's been a radio DJ and a weatherman. Beyond that, he has a long history of stage acting, with news presenter Joe Moore. While none of these other projects have been nearly as high profile as Sajak's tenure on Wheel of Fortune, there's still proof that he has never restricted himself to just that one game show. Even now, after officially retiring, he's keeping busy, as reported by Variety. He's set to appear in a new rendition of the play, Prescription Murder, at Honolulu's Hawaii Theater in the summer of 2025.